So, yes, it's James, and you're probably wondering, James, why the fuck are you talking to me from VR chat? Well, this is gonna sound really odd to anybody who's been in like VR for a long time, but I almost hate to admit this, but I only just watched Ready Player One today. That's fucked. I know it's fucked. For like anyone else, you'd be like, yeah, maybe you didn't. I mean, but if you're like a VR gamer, you're probably like, yeah, well, they made this movie for us, so, it seems weird that you wouldn't watch it. It's just that when it came out, I wasn't actually a VR gamer. I was still a pancaker. It is what it is. Anyway, so, yeah, I actually thought it was pretty damn good, truth be told. When people say, like, oh, I don't think that VR is mainstream or anything like that, I just want to point something out. We had Spielberg make our movie, okay? Did Spielberg make a movie for, shitty pancake games or console gamers? No. Yeah, so you know who they had to get? This is actually kind of embarrassing. I feel bad for them. Feels like I'm picking on someone. But anyway, they had to get Todd Howard. How embarrassing is that? Todd Howard? Todd Howard had to make their game. It's called The Wizard. Came out in 1989. It was actually a pretty bad movie. Guess it was kind of popular at the time because it's the first movie about shitty video games. Yeah. But as cool VR gamers, who did we have? We had Steven Spielberg. Yeah, Steven Spielberg, like the best director ever, made our movie. So, sure, maybe I'm being like a little bit toxic, but that's fine. It's also kind of just the way I am, so get used to it. You don't like it? Fuck you. Anyway, where was I going with this? We're probably nowhere. I'm just saying it was actually a pretty good movie. I mean, when people are like, VR is never going to be mainstream. Well, you know what, dude? We had our own movie, so I don't know what you're fucking talking about. Like, is there a movie for, like Warhammer 40K is awesome. It still doesn't have its own movie, but we did, right? It's got some, like, small-time shit, like cartoons or something. Doesn't have Spielberg making them, does it? No. Okay, a few sort of comments on the movie, I guess, since it is supposed to be a review. So, here's where it is. IOI? Okay, I mean, let's be honest. That turned out to be Facebook, right? Except that, like, the bad guy's probably going to win in the end, in real life. That kind of sucks. Oh, what do you do? It's all going to be just fine. In the end, no empire lasts forever. Facebook won't either. So don't fucking worry about it. Don't panic. Besides, PCVR is still where the cool shit's happening, right? We're the ones with Everslot. We're the ones with that other game, the Hell Sweeper. That looks fucking badass. I can't wait to check that shit out. You getting on the Quest too? Yeah, like maybe someday a lame version of it? Nope. PCVR, baby. PCMR is where it's been forever. Okay? Don't even front. Anyway, digressing. What I meant to say is it's actually a pretty good movie. Yeah. I'm also going to say this. Look. Let's just be real here for a minute, okay? We all knew, right from the start, that H was a chick, right? You can't just take a woman's voice and then just make it deeper and think that sounds like a guy. It just doesn't. Men and women talk differently. Put some fucking effort into it. Jesus. Like, this is something I kind of know a little bit about, all right? Jesus. No, I clocked that immediately. That's a chick with her voice artificially deepened. You can't fool me. You can probably fool other people, but first thing she said, I was like, that's the chick. Anyway, that's not super relevant to the movie or anything. I'm just saying I hate it when they do that because they always catch it. What I'm just going to do to say the line? Whatever. Is VR ever going to become like it is in that movie? I seriously doubt it, even though I did make a video a few days before I saw the movie saying that our reality sucks and now's a good time to get into VR to escape from how shitty our reality is. And then a few days later, I'm like, I should actually watch this movie. So I actually did. And kind of the premise of the movie is that real life sucks and people just go into VR. And then in the end, they're like, okay, but it sucks, but you should still sometimes go into the real world because actually, that's where you eat and, it's a good point. Eating's fun. Trust me. Well, still, I mean, that is kind of funny. We've just never seen the movie before. And then it's kind of what it's about. It's like the premise. You live in some shitholes, you go in VR where it's kind of awesome. And it is sort of like a VR chat vibe to a lot of the scenes there. I think that's actually pretty cool because that kind of exists, right? That's something you have to sort of appreciate when you're like watching a movie and then like a few years later or less, it's actually a thing. That's pretty cool. I think that's cool. Yeah. By the way, this is why you buy an index, right? This is the reason. It has no other use for those trackers. Yeah, that's worth an extra $1,000. Sure. That said, we're still missing a couple of things. Like, we still don't have, like, really huge battle arenas. You know, like they had, like, that Planet Doom or whatever the fuck it was called. Whatever. That looks pretty cool. I would go to that. That would be fun as shit. I mean, I'm sure there's some stuff that's kind of like it, but not to that scale, and not with an FPS that's playable. Looking at you, VR chat. I mean, it's good now, but I'm the only person here. As soon as I go into some other place, you know, it's going to be, well, let's be honest, VR chat is pretty weird, okay? It's pretty weird. I don't think I've ever seen so many cat girls with suspiciously deep voices before. That's, oof, yeah, that's pretty weird. Yeah. Listen, I'm not judging you. I'm not judging you. That's not what James is about. Kind of is, but that's not what this is about. Okay? Anyway, it's fun. I wish I knew more people. I've only ever actually had some pretty limited conversations here in, you know, in VR chat. Still, it's neat though. It's neat. And I got sort of like a VR chat vibe from a lot of scenes in that movie. So that's actually pretty cool. Yeah. So you guys are thinking like, Mark Zuckerberg watched that movie and he's like, oh shit. That's what we got to do. We got to have this big thing. We're not going to call it Oasis. That's a little too obvious. People will figure out that we're IOI. And then, you know, that would suck. But anyway, he's like, we should do that. We should have our own thing with 80% advertising before people get a seizure. Right? Look, we all sort of know that a closed standard platform like that really is probably, I want to say unlikely to really succeed, but Twitter and Facebook are shitty closed platforms, and they're the dominant ones. And the open platforms, like say Mastodon, Twitter, Miskey, not nearly as popular. What do you say? I don't know. Like, is VR too technical still? I don't know. I feel like with like Quest 2, it isn't that technical. I feel like anyone can sort of get into it. And VR chat's for it. I mean, you're missing some avatars for cool PC people, but if you have an account, like you can move the accounts around. So I don't know. If you're out and about, I think it's pretty cool. But is that the problem? Is like VR chat still too technical? Even on Quest 2 though? Like on, I don't know. I like to know it's, you know, what exactly needs to happen so we actually get like this huge popularity thing. I think that'd be cool as hell. And apparently we had like, what is it, 10 million Quest 2s? That's kind of neat. If they connect those Quest 2s to a PC, that's neat. If they're using them just like with the Oculus store, that's actually pretty lame. And kind of who gives a shit about that? Because honestly, it's a walled garden sort of thing. Banking a lot of that stuff in Facebook just seems like a bad idea because, you know, people do get their Facebook accounts screwed up. Maybe something they did or not. It doesn't really matter. The point is now they're locked out of their own shit. That seems very uncool. And it happens to people. And it can be for reasons that have nothing to do with like you violating the terms of service. It can be because of your politics or whatever. That's kind of fucked up. Oh, we don't like your politics. You engaged in some wrong think, and now all your games are fucking gone. Well, that's not going to happen with good old Gabe Newell. Your money's always good to him. And think about it too, because when this metaverse thing comes out, which is clearly going to be the Oasis, we are not going to want it to be Mark Zuckerberg or that kind of shit. At the same time, I think it's fair to say that I don't know Mark Zuckerberg personally. I really don't. But here's the thing. You can always implement and make something an open standard. Alright? So if he makes it so it's based around Facebooks and shit like that, then it's going to be crap. But if he says, oh, we want it to be open, he could make it open. And then it doesn't matter that it was Facebook's invention so long as it's open. So I guess we'll see if he's really fucking lying or telling the truth about it. My suspicion is that he's probably lying and it's going to be tied into Facebook. And he looked at Oasis and was like, it's too bad the bad guy lost and couldn't fill 80% of the user's vision with advertisements. That's weird. Why did Spielberg make it like that? I don't know. That's probably what he thought was going on, but I don't know. Like I said, I don't know the guy. You don't either. Nobody knows him. So who knows? Anyway, Ready Player One's definitely a neat movie if you're a VR person. So, yeah, it's weird it took me so long to watch it. You'd think I would have been, like, right on that. For some reason, I just wasn't. I was doing something else at the time. Like, you know how it is? You miss a really awesome game because at the time you did some overtime on the wrong day, then you just missed it, and then all your friends played it, got bored of it, and were gone by the time you had free time. Shit like that happens all the fucking time. Anyway, that's what happened with Ready Player One and me. It's probably good, because then I would have got into VR back in, like, 2018 or whenever the fuck that movie was released. Because it would have been like, that's awesome. Yeah, I want that. And then I would have got on it. And then, well, that would have sucked because things are better now. No, I still say it. Now's a really fantastic time to be in VR. I mean, look, next year we're going to have Deca gear coming out. I'm actually pretty excited for that. I'm definitely going to get one. I'm sure of it. Because I don't feel like whatever the Quest 3 is going to be out as soon as people think. And I also don't think that the Index 2 is going to be coming out anytime soon. I think Valve's going to be screwing around with their ridiculous Steam Deck, which is ridiculous. I kind of want one anyway, but I mean, look, it's a portable computer that runs Arch Linux. I'm a huge Linux nerd. I'm a huge Arch Linux nerd. That's what I am. I am an Arch Linux nerdess. And you're like, hey, here's a portable gaming PC that runs fucking Arch Linux. James, are you going to buy one? And I was like, yes, I fucking going to buy one, Gabe. Anyway, but the webpage fucked up. And I was at work at the release time. And by the time that it sorted itself out, I had time to think about it. And I was like, when am I actually ever going to use this? I already own a gaming laptop. Like, what portable gaming do I need? And if it doesn't really work as VR, and you could sort of make it maybe, but it's really not meant for that, that's pretty obvious. What need do I have of it? If I'm going to do VR, like, randomly somewhere else, well, really, the Quest 2 is going to be cheaper, right? It just is. Oh, it might not be quite as awesome, but I don't even know if that's true. Because its hardware is pretty cool for what it is. But there's no, like, 6800 XT or 3090 and that shit, right? Not with that heating profile. Not with that weight. No. But some tweaking, right? A little bit of tweaking. And then you put that in your headset. You fix a lot of the Index's sort of warty glitches on it. And we're getting something pretty cool. So we want to check that out. Anyway, that's what I think is... I don't know even what I'm talking about anymore. I'm just kind of rambling. I like to do that sometimes. And apparently I'm doing it in VR chat. No one knows what I'll do next. What? Anyway, so where was I going? I think I was talking about Ready Player One. Probably everyone who's like into VR even a little bit already seen it probably 100 times. I kind of get it. You know, it was fun. But at the same time, was I the only one watching this and being like, that is a lot of sort of franchise placement? You know what I mean? Like, here's Iron Giant. fighting Mechagodzilla. Now, that's the kind of thing you'd see in VR. I'm like, okay, it is. It is. I'm not saying it's unrealistic. I'm not saying that because that's right. That's you're gonna see that kind of weird shit. But at the same time, I feel like the kind of like I don't want to say it's unrealistic because that kind of shit kind of already happens. You know, if it wasn't, you get what I'm saying here, right? That I really felt like I was being advertised to, that there was some like real native ad placement going on. To say, hey, if you haven't seen Iron Giant lately, well, I've never seen it. I actually don't really watch a lot of movies. And if I do, they're all like action movies. Like, yes, I've seen John Wick, because that's a good time, John Wick. I'll watch all 1,000 John Wick movies or until he stops making them. And I'll love every goddamn one of them. But like some of the stuff, like, I don't know, man. If I'm going to devote an entire, like, hour and a half to watching just one movie, but I did not regret spending whatever length that Ready Player One was. So yeah, like, I liked it. And especially as like a VR nerd, I kind of feel like you sort of have to like it. I guess we'll see where VR is going. At least that's something about the movie that got me thinking about it. It's just what's more happening in the future, and what kind of advertising and shit we're gonna have to put up with. I mean, it was actually a pretty dystopian setting, and just because like the good guys won, of which there was 5, right? These 5 good guys, and now they own everything. That's actually kind of worse than real life. There's at least, you know, like what, a couple hundred reptiles? Not literal reptiles. But you know what I mean? We sort of own everything. And now the virtual world is owned by like 5 people. In a way that kind of set it up for a sequel. Probably waiting for the Index 2 to come out. That's my theory. Ready Player 2 will come out when the Index 2 comes out. That's my conspiracy theory. You heard it here first. Probably. Yeah. That's my official prediction. Then it's probably ranted a lot enough. Just blathering, going nowhere. I don't even think I made any sense during 90% of this. Or you have to edit the shit out of this so there's some kind of like coherency. It's kind of what I'm like when I'm ranting. And it turns out when you're ranting in VR chat, it's actually even harder than normal to stay focused for some reason. Anyway, I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.